Hello, I'm Andrew from the Media Lunch Break podcast, and we're doing an episode today on Captain Mar-Vel, the new movie coming out from the MCU. So we're here today in this very warm LA setting, definitely not a frigid New York City, freezing cold early March day. It's so warm. The sun is it's so toasty. I'm just sweating through my clothes. So to start, I'd like to talk about Captain Mar-Vel a little bit and my expectations for the movie. I'm hoping it's going to be good. Rotten Tomatoes has it at about 82%. It's steadying out over there. They've had about 151 reviews from professional critics so far. Actually, I think because of this movie, they've stopped accepting individual personal reviews because people were just spamming it with nonsense and trying to get it as low as possible. But I think it looks pretty good based on the trailers. I've only seen the first couple because I want to go in fresh. I don't want to know a lot about the movie before I go in. But Carol Danvers is an interesting character. It looks like they're not strictly sticking to her original origin story, which involved her sort of just being a regular person who, in an explosion, was damaged by some weird Kree alien machine. And that gave her powers of Captain Mar-Vel, who was a Kree alien. It looks like they're going to do something very different. I'm not sure. There's still no news yet, or rather it has been spoiled for us. Who knew LA was such a noisy city? So there's no word yet as to whether or not they are sticking strictly to Carol Danvers' original origin story. But the idea, it looks like to me, is that she's going to be a pilot and there's going to be an explosion, which is kind of similar. That happened to Captain Mar-Vel. A pilot got in the way of someone trying to kill Captain Mar-Vel, and he took on the persona of that pilot. But it looks like she's going to be a fighter pilot, and there's going to be something having to do with that explosion giving her her powers. I still don't know yet if Jude Law is playing Yon-Rog or Captain Mar-Vel as of now. I believe Funko released a pop figure that spoiled that, but I'm trying really hard, as I said, to stay out of all that. So I'm really interested to see where they go with that. I'm interested to see where they go with Goose? Is that the new, or is it Chewie? I think it's Chewie is the name of the... Oh no, it's Goose. Chewie's the one from the comics, is the cat, and Goose is the cat in the movies. And I'm not entirely sure what they're doing with that. I think it's going to be that she must get a new cat. I don't know. We're going to have to see, because in the comics, it's I forget where it's from, but it's not actually a cat. Chewie is an alien creature that looks like a cat, but it actually has like a million tentacles and can shapeshift. That'll be a lot of fun if they go that route with the cat. I'm also very excited to see Samuel L. Jackson de-ageified and get both his eyes. I think this is the first time that we've seen Nick Fury with two eyes, so that's pretty cool. We might even get to see how he loses it. He briefly teased in Winter Soldier, I think, that he lost his eye because he trusted someone, so it'll be interesting to see if they hint at that at all. Other than that, I'm just really excited to see this film. There are a couple other small callbacks as well. There's a character from Guardians of the Galaxy who's in it, among others, so we'll see if they have bigger roles, and I'll let you guys know how it is when I get out. Boom! We're in the present. That was 1995 in LA, well before Captain Mar-Vel was a movie. And now we're in the present day. That's 2019 in New York City. And I have this cat, Flurkin. And we're going to talk to you a little bit about Captain Mar-Vel, the newest movie to come out from the MCU. My name is Andrew, and I'm representing one half of the Media Lunch Break podcast. We bring you all your finest in comic, geek, and movie news, and today we're going to talk a little bit about Captain Mar-Vel. It's been about a month since I last saw it, so I wanted to make sure I talked about it while it was still fresh in my mind. Right? There's so much cat hair in the air right now. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Oh my god. Captain Marvel is a fun movie, and the MCU knows how to do fun like no one else. It's got a lot of great galactic sequences, very similar to Thor Ragnarok or Guardians of the Galaxy. It's very, very similar to those movies in terms of visual spectacle and colors, and even a lot of the humor is very similar to those movies. There's a lot of sarcasm, a lot of biting wit. This movie follows the storyline of Captain Mar-Vel, also known as Carol Danvers, although in this movie she's lost her memory and she goes only by Veers? Is that her name? I think it's Veers, even though that doesn't make any sense because there's only one E in her name. But how can you expect aliens to know the phonetic alphabet? Am I right? Brie Larson plays Carol Danvers, aka Captain Mar-Vel, and she's pretty good in the role. I think some of the direction might be a little rocky. A lot of her lines are spent being sarcastic, which if she thinks she's a Kree soldier, I mean, are we to understand that aliens have sarcasm, that this alien race knows what sarcasm is, and that she got it from there, or she just doesn't remember where she got it from, but she knows what sarcasm is? It's very strange. They don't go into a whole lot of science in this regarding amnesia or how that's supposed to function, but the sarcasm doesn't always work, and there's a lot of it. The co-stars really shine in this movie. Samuel L. Jackson is fantastic, playing a much younger version of himself. Annette Bening is great. Jude Law is phenomenal. Brie Larson is a little underwhelming. I'd seen her in Scott Pilgrim vs. the Universe before. I'd seen her in Room, where she was just so powerful. She portrayed that role so well. And this just falls a little stale. She's good. She delivers all the lines in a way that makes sense. But she just doesn't have that special je ne sais quoi that Tony Stark has, or that Chris Pratt has playing Star-Lord. It's just missing something, a little flair. And I'm not sure what that is, but I do have high hopes that they'll be able to have that figured out by Endgame. This is 20 years before Endgame, so hopefully they'll give her something. She'll have been around the universe a couple times, she'll have a little extra glint, a little wink, So hopefully they'll figure that out by then. There were a lot of concerns that this movie was going to be a, quote, feminist movie, and that was going to ruin the movie somehow. There's not a lot of that. In fact, the directors said that they were going for more of a Terminator feel, which definitely comes through. There's, the leather jackets, the motorcycle. There's even a scene that is very, very similar involving both of those two things, the leather jacket and the motorcycle. It's very similar to a scene in the first Terminator. So that definitely comes through in the same way that Ant-Man is a heist movie, or Captain America Winter Soldier is an espionage movie. This is definitely like a 90s sci-fi action movie. Some of the CGI also leaves a lot to be desired. It's just not on par with a lot of the other MCU movies. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson looks great. They de-aged him really, really well. The same way they've done with Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War, and everyone else. They've done it a million times. So that works really, really well. But a lot of the times when Captain Marvel's flying through space, it's very clearly animated. And by very clearly, I mean it looks like that scene from the second Matrix movie where Neo fights a million Agent Smiths. looks like that. It looks like someone hand drew this on a piece of paper and made it into a flip book. But overall, the story works, the characters work. It's just not really a Carol Danvers story, and that's its biggest problem. That being said, it's a very good movie. I've easily put it in my top 10 superhero movies. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. Really reminds me of the 90s. You see a lot of the old outfits. You hear a lot of the music. The same way that Guardians of the Galaxy utilized good music that you remember that's nostalgic. This movie does it as well. Captain Marvel is full of 90s movies that I remember hearing on the radio as a kid. So if you're interested in that, it's right up your alley. Any 90s kids. 90s kids are going to love this movie, right? You weren't born in the 90s or the 80s. I was born in the 80s, but I'm a 90s kid. I don't want to hear that crap. I said I don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. I'll let you go in a minute. So that just about does it. We can wrap this up. We can wrap this up, I promise. I promise. We're about to... It's okay. It's okay. You can go eat food in a second. All right. You can go. I thought the Flurkin worked really well, both in Captain Marvel and in this review. So, my cat's leaving because it's very upset. And we'll talk about another movie. I think Shazam is probably going to be the next one we do. And that is a different Captain Marvel movie than the one I just talked about. Thank you so much for watching this video on Captain Marvel. My name is Andrew from the Media Lunch Break podcast. We do put out an episode of the podcast roughly once a week on Wednesdays. You can listen to that on iTunes, on Google Play Music, on SoundCloud, or on Spotify. You can also watch our videos on YouTube, just like this one. Next, we should have coming up a video on Shazam. Who is he? Why does he turn into a giant Superman person? And why do they have him even though they already have a Superman? You can also follow us on Twitter, where our handle is @MediaLunchBreak. You can find us on Facebook. We also have a brand new Instagram account, so be sure to search for us there. You can send us an email at themedialunchbreak@gmail.com, or you can visit our website, which is themedialunchbreak.com. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you on Kree, I guess. Bye! Oh my god. Stop shedding. Oh, so much cat hairs on my face and it's itchy. I'm sorry. That was mean. How do you have so much hair on you? Oh, it's so difficult. I'm gonna let me try to get rid of some of this first, because it keeps landing on me halfway through.
It's part of the character.
Oh, it's so hard.
It's part of the character.
I am the character.
Live it.
Jeez. Look what you did to me.